Hello everyone, this is George Diaz, President and Founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing, and another episode of Defining Infusionsoft Success. This week I've got Greg Jenkins. He's head of Monkeypod Marketing, as you can see there by his t-shirt, the background. He's really all branded, about as branded as you can get. Greg, thank you for joining me this week.
Hey George, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here and excited to chat with you.
Right, so I met Greg a couple months back, and it was actually Kelsey Bratcher, who I interviewed in last episode, that told me, hey, you ought to connect up with Greg, and he just thought it'd be a good connection. We connected up about, 6 months ago, 4 months ago. And this week I was trolling through Facebook, and I noticed that he was promoting a course, and he's got a course on learning Infusionsoft, which is something that I know a lot of my clients need. You know, the Infusionsoft training sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired. I won't get into that too much because that's kind of Greg's stuff. So Greg, tell us just a little bit about yourself, how you kind of got into this.
Yeah, it's so as you mentioned, you and I connected probably about 6 months ago. But since then, I've continued to discover that we just have a lot of overlap, and I find that that's often the case with the Infusionsoft ecosystem. There's a lot of people who just have, you know, a similar network or you know, similar connections and that sort of thing. But my introduction to Infusionsoft started in 2012. So I ran a small business in Lansing, Michigan, installing and servicing draft beer systems. So if you're a craft beer or draft beer enthusiast, you know, somebody has to run the lines and make sure that it's pouring at the right temperature and the right carbonation levels. So that was me. Business, and I moved to Arizona to follow my girlfriend. And a friend told me to check out Infusionsoft, and I sort of said, you know, screw you, I'm a beer guy, not a software guy. And then when I started looking at the company and what the software tool does, I realized it's a small business company. It's not just a software company. And then as I learned about how Infusionsoft works and what it actually does, I realized that all the things I thought I knew about running a small business was only really scratching the surface, and there was a lot more, and you know, there's a lot more that marketing automation can offer to make your business, you know, to take it to the next level. And so it kind of became a personal.
So you were working at Infusionsoft, right?
Yeah, March of 2012, I got hired at Infusionsoft. Yeah.
Okay. And what were you doing for that?
So I started as a consultant, kind of doing the one-on-one kickstarts, the onboarding. Actually, I saw you had an interview, I think, with Mark Jamnick, right? He was one of my first customers when I was doing consulting. So I helped him get onboarded, helped him get things set up for his business. And then at some point, you know, a year and a half later, I transitioned to doing the Infusionsoft University live trainings. And so I traveled all over the globe doing live classroom-style training for Infusionsoft University for another maybe year and a half or so. And then in May of 2015, I parted ways to follow my girlfriend again, this time to San Diego, and that's where I started Monkeypod.
Good. And then, I mean, so training is just one of those things you moved into at Infusionsoft, and you've done some more of that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I have a background in coaching. I was a water polo coach in Michigan at, you know, the middle school, high school, and collegiate level.
I'm a swimmer, so yeah, the water polo guys, those guys are nuts.
Yeah, it's a different level for sure. But you know, like anything, right? If you're an expert or if you're an educator, right, it shows up in different ways. And so for me, it was not only teaching, you know, and coaching entrepreneurs or athletes, but also then entrepreneurs. And you know, it doesn't really matter what the field is. If you're passionate about helping people reach that next level of understanding or think about things differently, right, then you'll continue to find ways for that to show up. And for me, small business and entrepreneurship and marketing automation specifically has been a great fit.
Right. And now the way what I know about his training, everybody, is what I've read on his ads. So I mean, from what I saw, is you're teaching some fundamentals, but you had, like, you know, tricks, things that you don't. I mean, it seemed like you're not just giving them the, hey, here's how contacts work and here's how companies work. It seems like you're kind of going into what you really need to learn. It was just kind of interesting the way you described it.
Yeah, so this course specifically is my most recent course. It's called the IS Starter Kit, and the concept is Infusionsoft is really robust. It has to be. For it to work for all of the different types of business models that it works for, it's just got to be a really powerful software. And the nature of a tool being so robust is that it can also be kind of overwhelming, right? If it needs to do all the things that these totally different businesses do, then it becomes more of a scavenger hunt for you or whoever the entrepreneur is to figure out what is it that I need out of this, right? And oftentimes when somebody starts with Infusionsoft, there's no roadmap. There's no linear progression. There's no systematic way for understanding it. And I think that, that's prohibitive for small business success. The learning curve oftentimes gets in the way of people really seeing an ROI on what they put into Infusionsoft. And so this course is designed to just answer 40 questions, right? 40 questions that I've seen people skip over when they're starting with Infusionsoft, either because no one told them or maybe because they didn't know to ask, right? And oftentimes, you've heard the saying, right? You don't know what you don't know. Well, this course is designed to show people not only the features that I feel like are often overlooked, but also just to answer questions that I feel like people skip over and are really critical to having that foundation of comfort and confidence for using Infusionsoft.
Okay, so today when you first log into Infusionsoft, you're kind of faced with the basic training. So do you assume that they've gone through that, or is this something that they just jump into and look at your stuff? I'm just trying to get an idea.
Yeah. So the basic training is really good, and people should definitely start there. It's funny you mentioned that because at one point it was my face and my voice doing those videos in the basic training. So I don't know if they're still using them. Once in a while I'll find a help article that has my video in it. I'm like, oh, well, here's me sending myself to a customer. But yeah, so I think the basic training is perfect. But the reality is, your business is unique just as every other business is unique. And so what my training does is it takes those click steps, right, the follow here, follow there, and it translates them into real life scenarios, right? The people who made the trainings, and I'm guilty of this as well, when I was at Infusionsoft, I wasn't relying on it to provide for my income, right? Now I am. And so I see things a little bit differently. In the past 16 months, my perspective has evolved because now I'm a user of Infusionsoft and not just an employee. And so as helpful and valuable as the Help Center is, I think that there's an angle, a perspective, or a lens through which you can view it as an entrepreneur that just is a little bit different. And so my course will show you, hey, here's what contacts do, here's how you interpret the contact record, here's where company records fit, but it's also going to show you from a strategic standpoint why that matters to your business.
Okay, so I'm assuming it goes into opportunities, referral partners. Are you covering the whole thing, or just more like introductory topics?
Yeah, so this is more of a surface level, navigational course to show you and plant the seed for where the different aspects of the software work. My philosophy is, you might not need all of it, right? I don't know anyone who's using 100% of Infusionsoft, but unless you understand it, then you're not really in a position to say whether or not you're going to use a particular feature. So the goal here is to just show you what the software does, show you where it fits in your business, and then you can decide if it's right for you, if you want to explore that more. And quite honestly, it sets people up where if they want more training, I've got some other courses that might be a good fit for them. Or if they decide, you know what, I want that, but I don't want to do it myself, I'm happy to refer people to consultants who are perfectly capable of doing it for them or doing it with them.
That's what,
you know anyone.
Funny you should say that because I've gone to, InfusionCon and PartnerCon, and not so much at PartnerCon, but InfusionCon they'll say, how many people here are using only 10% of Infusionsoft? And you have tons of people raising their hands. And actually, and I've had that when I have my, conversations with potential clients, and I go, that might not be a bad thing. Because you don't, like, for example, I've got some folks, that they really, they needed a CRM. And, they're a call center and they're, or a small sales team, and what they needed was only a CRM. So oddly enough, they're really good at contact companies and opportunities. That's basically all they do. Their life surrounds around stages, which is a real niche part of Infusionsoft when you really get down to it. And some people don't even have it because if you don't have the sales management module, you wouldn't even see that. And they were using, in their case, they're probably using maybe 20% of Infusionsoft, but it's the 20% that their business needed to educate themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And if you can address that, I think that's great.
think of it this way, right? You're familiar with like a Swiss Army knife, right? It's got all sorts of blades and a corkscrew.
I have my red one. Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, if you're a kid, right, and you get a Swiss Army knife for a Boy Scout and you earn it by selling magazines or whatever, right? You get your Swiss Army knife. If you only ever open one of those blades, then everything you look at, you're going to decide if this blade works or not, right? And you're going to find yourself picking your teeth with the blade because that's the one tool you're familiar with. But if you know a Swiss Army knife,
there's a pick in there.
Yeah, there's a toothpick, there's tweezers, there's a corkscrew, and you may never use the corkscrew, right? I'm not saying you need all the tools, but you need to know what's there so you can pick the right tool for whatever you're going to use it for.
That's a great analogy. I like that. There's even like a nail file hidden in there somewhere that most people don't even know exists, but not knowing it exists the day you need to file your nail kind of stinks.
Yeah. I'm not naive. I would never claim that I can teach you the entire course in 40 or the entire software in 40 sections, right? The whole concept here is I just want to give people that basic level of comfort so you don't feel like you're walking around in a china shop. So you don't feel like you're going to break something if you click the wrong link. My goal is to shine the light on a couple of different corners of the application and answer some common questions that people just skip over. And, if this course helps people decide that they don't want to go further with their education, then great. There's plenty of folks who are happy to help them and are more than capable. But if they decide that Infusionsoft is exciting or the marketing automation aspect, they start to geek out on it like you and I do, then maybe they want to roll up their sleeves and continue on that education path.
Right. So let me ask you, because one area in particular I'm interested, Campaign Builder. So how much of that do you cover, or out of the 40, is that like a certain number, or how deep do you go?
Yeah, so with this particular course, I've got one section on the Campaign Builder, and it's really just like here's what it is. Here's how you think about it and when you might use it. It covers some different scenarios for it. And if you're interested in the Campaign Builder, I've actually got a 3-part course that dives in A to Z, comprehensively covers it.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the Campaign Builder Trilogy.
Okay, and that's been out a while, right? I think we spoke about it last time.
Yeah, so that was my first course because the Campaign Builder is kind of the meat and potatoes, right? It's the bulk of what people use Infusionsoft for, and for a lot of people, it's the reason that they bought Infusionsoft. So I've got 3 chapters. They're all sold independently, but if you go through them start to finish, it definitely builds on itself. It snowballs, and it covers some ninja things toward the end there as well.
Nice. So because I'm just thinking we're probably going to bring on someone new in the next quarter, and something like this would be like excellent to kind of get them through, so I don't have to spend my time doing it. How many hours of training is that?
Yeah, so here's what I find, right? There are effectively 3 different types of Infusionsoft user, right? There's people who just want it done and they don't care how it happens. And then there's people who want to do it. They want to embrace it. They want to learn it so that they feel comfortable, so that they don't have to hire someone to run a report or change a tag. They want that basic level of comfort. And then there's people who want some sort of combination, right? They want some things done for them, but then they want to be, empowered to go make their own changes and that sort of thing. And so I don't care what type of, if you're person 1, person 2, or person 3, I don't care which one you are, but it's helpful for the Infusionsoft user to identify, hey, am I the type of person who just wants to outsource this, right? Maybe it's not the best use of your time to learn Infusionsoft, right? So there's plenty of people for whom, it's a tool and can be outsourced to a professional, and they don't want to bother with that learning curve. But there's a lot of solopreneurs who want a certain level of ownership. And my philosophy is, as an entrepreneur, I think there's just a baseline understanding that should have so that they can decide if Infusionsoft or learning and using it is something that they want to do or something that they want help with. And to your point, this course, the 40 modules, it's about 5 hours of content, right? So 5 hours and 22 minutes. Yeah, it's not bad, and at 40 modules, right, they're all between 5 and 15 minutes long. So if you do one a day, right, you'll be done in a little bit over a month, right? More realistically, if you do a couple a week, you'll be done in 2 months, right? But no matter how you approach it, right, each time you answer a question, that's one less thing you need to go research. That's one less thing you need to hop on with support chat. That's one less thing you need to hire or buy an hour of time with a consultant. And George, I don't want to discredit the work you and other people do who do implementation.
No, I'm with you.
It's not the best use of your client's time to call you when they have a simple question. And it's not the best use of your time to spend an hour on the phone and bill them for something that they could have got in a 3-minute video module. You know, so my goal is to just optimize the way all of us are using our time by mitigating the number of silly questions that we have to leverage support for.
And I'll let people come up and visit your site. We'll give them the URL and they can see how inexpensive this thing. I mean, we won't get into the pricing. It'll be a surprise when you visit his site. But this thing is a steal, not because I'm pushing it, but I'm just saying I've got a couple customers that I wish would have at least that baseline learning, because then I can, I can be more valuable to them as a consultant. And again, they're not calling me because I miss which tag goes with this. Well, it's like it's that one, and here's how you add it. So great job. And then, so in addition, just one more. We have a little bit more time. So you've got the trilogy to help you use a campaign builder. Is there anything else in your library?
Yeah, right. So if you look at the software menu, the Infusionsoft drop-down menu, right? The middle section, the marketing section, is primarily campaign builder. So that's my campaign builder course. Right. You're probably familiar with the concepts of lifecycle marketing, right? So I've got a course called LCM Real Life, Lifecycle Marketing in Real Life. And the reason I created that course is because I think most people are on board with lifecycle marketing like as a theory. The idea of taking your prospects and nurturing them and educating them, developing a relationship, and then converting them to customers, and then taking those customers and creating a scalable, repeatable experience where they become referral partners and driving the whole thing back to the beginning, right? Most people like that concept, but very few people understand how to actually do it, what the campaigns are that support those different steps, right? So the whole concept of the LCM Real Life course is taking the theory and making it actionable, making it practical, showing you how to execute it in real life. So that's the second course I usually recommend for people. If you've got the campaign builder, if you feel comfortable with how that tool works, the lifecycle marketing course shows you where it might fit and gives you some ideas for sprinkling it as a cohesive strategy throughout your marketing. And then I've got two other courses, the e-commerce pod, which is, as you might imagine, it's very specific to the e-commerce section. It's 10 modules. And it just walks you through. If you want to sell online with Infusionsoft, that course is going to take you A to Z, from having nothing to having all of your products, your shopping cart, your order forms, etc. And then the final course is the referral pod. Same sort of concept. Okay. I've got Monkeypod Marketing has a referral partner program, and I basically recorded myself building my own program, so that if you're following along, you can build yours at the same time and set up the same launch campaign, set up the same application process, and then create resources in the commission structure to support and drive engagement among your partners.
Nice. We'll be talking some more. You've got me thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. Well, hey, Greg, that's about all the time we have. I really appreciate you being so thorough with all you do. Just let people. What's your domain? Where can people find you?
Yeah, if people want to reach out to me, as you know, I'm really active on Facebook, so you're welcome to just friend me or send me a message there or look up my page, Monkeypod Marketing. But the easiest way is through my website, which is monkeypodmarketing.com. There's a contact form there. There's a little chat pop up which goes right to my cell phone. So if you want to chat with me, there's plenty of ways to get in touch.
Great. If anybody doesn't know how to spell it, it's on his shirt right now, and it's also in a poster on his wall. Yeah. So I'm sure we can find it. Hey, Greg, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, this is my pleasure. My hope is that your audience will get some value out of it, and between the two of us, we can help everyone conquer the world.
Great. Thank you.